as we go through this challenge this week, you're going to walk away with five main things. Our goals are five main things that you're going to be walking away with. Okay, first of all, you're going to get an opportunity to get to know our community, our Kingdom Wealth Creator community. We believe you are, every single one of you. You are God's very best idea. I tell people all the time that we're changed most by the books that we read and the people that we meet. And my very favorite book is this book right here. I have many of them around my house. And I always tell people, if you need a Bible, please put your address in the chat. I know that I am the hands and eyes and arms of God on this planet. And one of my commandments is that I get to share the good news of Jesus. I do want to share with you also that I hail from the land of Alaska, the very, very big skies of Alaska. And it's funny because coming from Alaska, there's actually not a whole bunch of people there. And when I moved to California, I realized, oh my goodness, there's so many more people that I get to share the good news with. And then COVID hit and Zoom opened up the entire world, right? So, friends, you're in the right place if you want to get to know people that love the Lord, that have a heart for serving, that believe that more of God's kids get to be winning in the financial game. As June said, I do come from 30 years in financial services. I've been in that industry for a really, really long time. And unfortunately, there's a lot of people that are not winning in the financial game. Raise of hands for those of you that maybe feel like this is yourself. Maybe you have some family that are being left behind. It's one of our missions in our firm, which is no family left behind financially. And we believe really the building blocks of helping more families win are to be financially sound with knowledge. I heard on a fabulous challenge one of my mentors and colleagues did the beginning of the year called the Wisdom Challenge. Those of you that may be familiar with Pedro Adeo, how many of you are familiar with Pedro? Many of us, we absolutely love him. I'm so blessed to be one of his Kingdom Wealth specialists. And one of the pastors on that challenge said something that really struck me, and I thought it was perfect for this community in this workshop series, which is the more wisdom that you seek, the fewer miracles that you need, right? And we know that in 2024, the beginning of the year, almost every person on the planet at least had a thought around a financial goal in their lives. Unfortunately, it's February 12th, and most people have forgotten what those financial goals were, which means they're probably very unlikely to achieve them. So I told you we're going to do five things. So you know about our community. You know that you're going to raise your financial IQ. You're going to walk away from this workshop knowing so much more than you did at the beginning of the week about how money works, the fundamental components of how to win in the very, very big world of financial services. You're also going to learn about some ways that you can increase your cash flow. We know that most families' financial goals it actually include we need to create more cash flow in our lives. Raise of hands for those of you that resonates with. I remember personally being in corporate America. I was very blessed there for many years. I was 100% commission my whole career. And I made between 300 and 500,000 a year for decades. I did it many, many times in a row. And guess what? My family still had financial goals that we weren't able to accomplish. And isn't that interesting? Part of it was because I didn't have really great habits about money. The more that I made, the more that I spent. Has anyone got any habits like that they've created over the years? Have you ever considered how much you were making in your career? Let's say maybe 20 years ago. Okay. And then fast forward to what you're making today in your career. Would you have been able to live on the same income 20 years ago as you were today? And yet, really, when you think about it, does your lifestyle really have to change that much as you increase in income? It's one of the big habits that I had to learn myself because I had 23 bosses in 19 years at my last firm. Anyone kind of tired of having a boss, by the way? I'm curious if anyone else kind of got sick of that and hired themselves like I did a couple of years ago, right? And so I want to give you some pointers as we're going through this. I've shared with you 3 things you're going to learn. I'm going to share with you a couple more things you're going to learn. You're going to learn how to be your own banker. Does that sound interesting? You're going to learn how to retire tax-free. Does that sound interesting? Anyone interested in making sure that the IRS is not in charge of your retirement? Does that sound like a good plan to not have the federal government in charge of your retirement? And you're also going to learn firsthand this week from a lot of my friends that are absolute geniuses in their space. My dear friend Donnis she is just the queen of reinvention. This woman, you are not going to believe how old she is. I'm never going to tell anyone, and she probably won't either. The way that she cares for herself when it comes to her health and her wealth. My friend Vicky's on this call right now. I can't wait to hear from you, my dear. We just have an incredible lineup for you. So friends, I want to give you a couple of pointers for making your time most effective with us. Okay. First of all, if you are not naked and it's not dangerous, can you please put your cameras on? I promise I am going to give you way more of my energy if you have your cameras on. I know that so will our guest speakers. So I want to encourage you to get your cameras on, notebooks out, my friends. I want to give you 2 things that you're going to write down in your notebooks. You can take screenshots. I am a corporate executive, recovering corporate executive, so I do use a lot of Google Sheets and visuals for you, so you can certainly take screenshots. But I encourage you, when you write something down, if it's something that you are going to take action on, you're going to write an A. Okay, that stands for action. If it's something we work a lot with our mindset here in our community. If it's something that's an affirmation, you're going to put an AF. And our community knows this. Affirmations are lies that we tell ourselves until we believe them. Okay. Because most of the time, affirmations may not necessarily be something that we actually possess at the time, right? So I want to encourage you to write those down. We're going to be giving you some affirmations as well. And we're going to actually start with 2 of my favorites. I'm going to share my screen with you, and I'm going to actually ask you all to unmute. And we are going to just create some declarations around today. Okay. So let's unmute, and on 3, we're going to start with I declare. 1, 2, 3. I declare
God's
incredible blessings
over my life.
I will see an explosion of God's goodness,
sudden
sudden widespread increase.
I will experience
the
the
surpassing greatness of God's
God's favor.
It will elevate
me to a higher level than I ever
than I
dreamed.
ever dreamed.
Explosive blessings
Blessings are
coming my way. This is
my
my declaration. Amen. And then we have one more. I added this month, I added a money affirmation as well. Okay. So I want you to all, again, on 3, we're going to say this out loud together. 1, 2, 3. Money comes to me easily and effortlessly. Wealth constantly flows into my life. My actions create constant prosperity. I am aligned with. And it broke off there, so that's okay. I'm aligned with, I'll tell you what it says. I am aligned with the energy of abundance. Okay. Now I want to share with you a little story as we get started. This is about a very, very special woman in my life. And I want you, as you're thinking about this, to think about somebody in your life. Okay, today is February 12th, and it is this fabulous woman's birthday. Okay, I want to introduce you to my sweet mother. This is Sue Weiss. She is not on the call with us today because she has already been called home. Okay, but I want to tell you a story about when I was growing up. When I was growing up, my mom was a school nurse, and she was one of those very rare souls. Have you ever met someone that you meet them and you think that person is doing exactly what God called them to do? Does anyone know anybody like that? Um, Now that I do what I do now, I have people tell me that because I feel like I've found my kingdom calling. My mother, Sue, she was a nurse for 54 years. She was a servant heart leader in her community. And I want you to think about back in the past, a February that you remember. Who were you with? How did you feel? What goals did you create for yourself? Were there financial goals? Were there physical goals? Were there spiritual goals? My mother believed that you should celebrate your birthday the whole week. So she taught me well. I always, my birthday's in January. Our community knows I went skiing in January. I went to Costa Rica in January. I think I've taken it and now I do my whole month, right? But I want to just ask you to consider looking ahead 12 months from now, my friends. Most people that we know that started with some January goals have already forgotten them. And I want to encourage you that that is not God's plan for your life. There's no recession in heaven. There is not lack in heaven. There's no financial dis-ease in heaven, right? My mother, yes, she left this earth much sooner than I anticipated she would. She's exactly where she's supposed to be, though, and I would never dream of taking her. And I'm so grateful that I know without a doubt that I will see her again. And I want to give you your first piece of homework today. Okay, I want you to think about when you see this picture, who comes to your mind? We all have someone like this, someone that poured belief into you, that whatever you did, it was okay. My mom, it was funny. I was never very good at athletics, but I did gymnastics and dance for like 12 years. And she always told me, "Oh, honey, you were the best. You were just the best," even though I wasn't, right? And so I want to just encourage you to call that person and just let them know, you know what? I went to a workshop with this lady that loves Jesus today, and she had me start thinking about you. And I just wanted to tell you thank you for being who you are in my life. And I also want to tell you, if you are someone that doesn't have this someone in your life, then guess what? You get to even do something better. You get to be that person to someone, right? You get to call someone that maybe that was put on your heart, and you just get to tell them that I believe in you and that I love you. And guess who loves you even more than I do? Our Heavenly Father. So I want to challenge you all to do that today. And I'm going to be going live and talking about my mama all day today and probably all week. I'm so excited that you're here to celebrate my mom's birthday with me. So thank you for coming, friends. We're going to have a lot of fun this week. I will tell you, there's nothing more special that God gave us than community, than friendship, than locking arms together in business and life. And I just want you to know that you're in the right place if you're looking for kingdom-hearted people that have a servant heart that want to get more money in the hands of good people so we can do good things. Too many of God's kids are living paycheck to paycheck, and it's really frustrating for me. I want you to encourage you to invite a buddy. How many of you know someone that could use a little raising of their financial IQ? That really would benefit to add an income stream to their lives, right? That would benefit from being around people that think that anything is possible. There's a lot of fear in our society right now, and you're going to be learning this week 5 ways to increase your cash flow, how to build an online business with our platform and really get smart financially. We're also going to teach you a little bit, there's only so much you can do in a week. We're going to teach you about how to build your own community with, the people that you already have in your life, the people that are dear to you, as well as meeting new friends. The great commandment is that we are meant to be shepherds, right? We get to bring lots of people into the fold. And we have a mighty mission in our community here, which is to create a tribe of seven-figure, not earners, but givers. Imagine how amazing that would be if, does anyone have a goal to be more generous, by the way, to give more generously? I know that here on this community, there's a lot of people that give so much of their time, which is such a beautiful thing. Wouldn't it be nice to also maybe write a check with that time on occasion, right? And have a little bit more, that we can provide for families. And I want to ask you to consider something, because this is one of the first things that we know is blocking more of God's kids from truly achieving financial success. I call it finding your kingdom calling. My mentor Pedro, he calls it your field of favor. And I want you to think about for a minute, and I would love for you to write in the chat, what is your superpower? One of the things that when I say superpower, it means, what are you just naturally blessed with? What lights you up? What do you find easy to do? I heard once that a podcast I listened to, they said a really, really great way to figure this out is think back to when you were a kid and what did you do how did you get in trouble? And one of my superpowers is I genuinely love people. I love to hear their stories. I love to get to know them. I never can ever have enough friends. For those of you that are new to our community, you're going to hear me say, I can't wait to force you to be my friend for life, right? And so what is your superpower? Because I will tell you, the superpower that you have is going to help you find your field of favor, help you find your kingdom calling. Now, this week, we're actually teaching you about ours. We're teaching you about the world of financial coaching. We're giving you a glimpse into kind of what we do on a day-to-day basis. The people in our community, we are licensed professionals. I'm licensed in every state in the nation. And we serve people in a lot of different ways. With the main goal in my community is that we believe you are God's masterpiece. You are his very, very best idea. And far too many of our kids are just living as though we don't really realize that, right? We haven't found our kingdom calling. We might be on this hamster wheel like I was. Does anyone resonate with the hamster wheel of life? Has that ever crossed your lips that there's a hamster wheel you're on? And I want to just encourage you that is not God's plan for you. There's a lot of you on this call that are entrepreneurs. Maybe you're straddling the world of corporate and entrepreneurship like I did. I did that for 4 years. And I see some heads shaking and heads nodding. And sometimes you're feeling like, is this ever gonna happen? Right? Am I ever gonna replace that income? Am I ever gonna make up for that loss that I had, years ago? Or am I ever gonna get over that scam that I got caught up on? Any people that have gotten caught in scams in this call? I see my friend Eric on the call. My sweet father got taken for $260,000 last year in a Bitcoin scam. This is real stuff, friends, that's happening to our loved ones. So, I just want you to consider there's a lot of reasons why the devil is going to tell you this isn't going to work. Okay. I will promise you this. Maybe has anyone ever thought, oh, you know what? I've tried to build wealth before and I've lost. Like, let's put a 1 in the chat if that's you. I want you to say, well, I don't have a lot of extra income. How can I even get started investing? But put a 2 in the chat if that's you. There's a lot of, it's interesting. I'm getting off this wisdom challenge, and I'm so very blessed to get to serve these beautiful people that have come into this challenge and they're implementing the Kingdom Wealth Formula. And the number one issue that most of them have is that they're just simply not earning enough money to fund these plans that we put in front of them, right? That's why I love what we do so much, because not only do we help people get financially savvy, but we give them opportunities to create their own economy, right? Maybe does this resonate with anyone? I've never been smart when it comes to money, right? I see that a lot, especially around women. And I haven't made great financial decisions in the past. Friends, you are looking at the girl that says and has done all of those things, right? So you are in the right place. And if I can do it, you can do it. There's so many people that ask me, Lisa, how many people are really successful in what you do? And the great, beautiful answer for that is I can tell them it's 100% of the people that just get to know our system and follow it and are coachable and understand that nothing happens overnight, right? Suzanne says, I haven't been smart with money and I didn't know how to manage my money. Yep, absolutely. 100%. You'll notice in our community, we're a melting pot of nationalities. There's a lot of colors in this community, right? I was talking with one of our new friends last week, and she said, Lisa, people that look like me, she's a Black woman, do not usually do well when it comes to money. And I said, my friend, we get to change that. Up until now, that does not get to be your story, right? It doesn't have to be your story. Absolutely. So that's exactly what the challenge is designed to help you overcome, all of those limiting beliefs that we have around money. I want to share a crazy stat with you, ladies, especially. I love my boys on this call, but women, I am especially passionate about empowering you. This is a woman, her name is Sharon Lecter. And I'm going to give you my first book recommendation. This is a book called How Money Works for Women. And we actually do a book club on this book on a weekly basis. And Sharon Lecter, she's actually the co-author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Has anyone heard of that book before? So everyone knows that book, but very few people know that Sharon was the co-author, which I think is pretty funny, but not surprising living in the society that we live in, right? But Sharon, in her book, she teaches about that women, we're going to control 30 trillion of the financial assets in the US. That's 2/3, my friends, of the wealth by 2030. And so the question is, this has really, really been top of mind for me, is how many of us are ready for this responsibility? Myself, when I was that single mama, 23 years ago, I had a 3-month-old and a 3-year-old. I was good at making money, but I had no idea what to do with it because my husband did everything. And so I took this first step with a financial peace class. Is anyone familiar with Dave Ramsey, Financial Peace University? It's a great program to make sure you don't be poor. I think there needs a little bit more information there to actually help people build wealth. That's where I think the financial peace group maybe lacks a little bit, but it's a great place to start, and it really helped me. And so I want you to encourage you. How many of you on the call, raise of hands for those of you that are parents on this call or grandparents? I know that a lot of us have you known it? Do you see kids around the block? Like maybe if you don't have them, or, you don't know it, you must know some. And I want you to consider, if we are not equipped to really understand our own financial roadmap, how are our kids going to do? Are they teaching our kids anything about how money works in school? Right? Not at all. Suzanne's shaking her hand. I know our friend Suzanne, she's going to be getting married soon. I know her and Marcus are going to be probably starting a family. I tell you what, this knowledge that we are putting in the hands of just everyday people, it is going to just change the trajectory of our families' futures. And so I'm excited for you to be part of this, my friends. We're gonna start by I want to share a couple of mistakes that people make when it comes to building wealth. Okay, so this is going to be a writer downer, friends. Okay, so first of all, I want you to consider: have there been times in your life where you were crippled with loss, where someone in your life, maybe you were let down. Maybe you had a broken marriage like I did. Maybe you had some loss like I did. I lost my mom and my very best friend in the span of 10 months. And it was really it was a tale of two cities because my mother, she and my father had it was like you couldn't have made a more perfect, like perfectly wrapped present for dying, right? She had everything planned. They had lots of life insurance. She had assets that were properly protected. Everything just passed to my dad as perfectly as it could have. Now, my best friend, on the other hand, Elizabeth, it wasn't the case. She left this world with no life insurance, with four children under the age of 16. And quite frankly, her family is struggling, right? And it doesn't have to be that way. So, one of the first things that we teach about in our community is that no family should ever need a GoFundMe. And I want you to write this down, my friends. Ask yourself, if something happened to you today, what would your family be okay? Would they be able to pay the bills for the next month? Would they need to start a GoFundMe like a lot of us I know, right? Protection first. The enemy comes to steal, kill, and destroy. Therefore, in the kingdom, a wise steward protects first. Um, I've always believed in life insurance, but I really haven't really realized how biblical it is until recently in the last year. We talk about protection first because, let's face it, friends, do we really have any business building wealth and earning and multiplying if we haven't first protected the most valuable thing we have, which is our ability to create wealth in the future for our families? So it's interesting because the world says we just get to earn and multiply, right? But doesn't it make sense that the kingdom way is to protect first, right? So I just want to encourage you, friends, ask yourself, are you protected from some of the biggest major risks that we all face? There's major accidents. Isn't it interesting that everyone's required to have car insurance, which I think is a very good thing? Absolutely. We now have things in place that most people can get access to health insurance as well. I will say, as an entrepreneur, you are paying a heck of a lot of money through the open market. It's one of the reasons I'm so excited about our health insurance for entrepreneurs that you will be learning about later this week. It's one of the things that we talk about and teach how to earn income around. And then the other thing is major market losses, right? As a financial, professional, there's only so much you can do if someone is not willing to first protect what they have, right? Because the reality is, with the market, at some point, you can actually help people more by making sure they don't lose when the market takes a crash. And so I want you to ask yourself right now, have I protected myself against these things? And you're going to have opportunities throughout the week. We have a session with our wealth coaches that you're going to be able to meet with. But I want you, the purpose of today is just to start to plant some seeds about what we're going to be discussing. Has your human economic value been met? And some of you, this might be a new concept, but what you do, it's a very easy way to calculate this. You basically figure out, okay, what do I earn every year? What's my annual earning? And then how many years until I plan to be financially free? Financially free is that bucket of money that once you've hit that, now you're able to live off the interest comfortably and you're not going to run out. That's the number of years, right? If you don't know what that number is, then just maybe pick 65. So you calculate what's your annual income and then the number of years until you hit that goal, that age. Okay. And that's your human economic value. For most working adults, it's a minimum of $1 million, right? So the value of really understanding what your human economic value is so, so important. So I want you to write that down, do that calculation for yourself. And friends, also, if you have life insurance, I'm thrilled that you do. Now, the question is, what kind of life insurance? Because how many of you have upgraded your phones lately, by the way? How often do you upgrade your phone? I probably every 12, 24, 36 months, right? So the question is, how often do you upgrade your financial products? Or take a look at what you have. And I'll give you an example. I had a life insurance policy about 5 years ago. I was doing a review myself, and I still had a policy that my ex-husband was the beneficiary of, right? I had not been married to this man for, over 15 years at that time. Don't you think my current husband would have been really surprised if all of a sudden we're really good friends, by the way, but I'm not that good of friends, right? And also, if you have insurance that's life insurance that's probably at least 6 years or older, you most likely have the old kind of insurance. The old kind of insurance is basically death insurance. Whereas now they have something called living benefits insurance, which is amazing. Okay. So, just make sure you evaluate, what do I have? Where is my policy? Right? Is it in a drawer that I even know where it is? Right? So you get to know that for yourself. You also get to really think about what is happening in the market today. Okay. This slide is a little busy, I know, but we're going to dive a little deeper into this later in the week. But this is a history of the US stock market. Okay. And does anyone see some patterns here that are being, right, that are the ups and downs of the market? Now you'll notice that right now we are at the highest running bull market in the history of mankind right now. So the question is, my friends, is there a possibility, you think, that there might be a correction coming? Raise of hands for those of you that think that's a very real possibility. Okay. And so again, the worldly way says that, oh, you know what? We just have to ride the roller coaster. We have to just ride the waves. My friends, that is not what that is an option. Don't get me wrong. You can lose 58% like I did in 2008. All right. Or you can seek wisdom. You can put walls in place and you can find solutions, which we will share with you this week, about how to make sure you never lose again, because there's ways to do that. And we're going to be teaching about that. So, friends, I want you to just really think about, are you in your kingdom calling? Have you opened all of the gifts that God intended for you to open? It's a question that I remember asking myself about 6 years ago when I was sitting in this really, really big bullpen of this was a partners bullpen. We had there was about 20 of us, and we were, it was a very vigorous sales environment. And I just remember looking around the room and thinking, I cannot remember the last time I learned something new. I can't remember the last time that I was excited about what I was doing, right? I can't remember the last time that that I felt there was a calling that God was teaching me in my day-to-day business world. And I was talking so much to people, to other believers about what the world was saying we should do. And yet the corporate world is very different than the kingdom world. Does that resonate with anyone? Right. And I started finding a real moral dilemma about what I was doing and thinking, is this all there is? Right. And it's really, it's perfect timing for me to bring to the stage my dear friend. But before I do, I'm actually going to bring I'm going to bring two women up on the stage right now, because we call ourselves the Flamingo Club, us three. And, it's a great example of how our community, we meet people through people. And I'm going to pass the baton for a minute to just this woman. I will tell you, I cannot tell you how much she means to me. She comes from decades from Wall Street. This woman comes with so much insight, so much knowledge about the financial world. And when I met her initially, she actually, we sat down and we actually went through her financial plan. And at the time, she was kind of like, Lisa, I really just want to use what I have. Right. My kids, I've done enough for them. They'll be good. And little did we know that she was going to be having a grandson that is coming along. And just in just the couple of years that I've known June, I have just seen God work in her. I've seen this woman knows more than most financial advisors out there, by the way. And I'm just so thrilled that she is one of our leaders in our community. And I'm going to have you introduce Donnis, okay? Because I love hearing you talk about Donnis.
Thank you so much for that introduction. And I requested to be the one to introduce Donnis because she, I have to say, is my favorite mentor, because no matter what she's in, the thick of it, if I call her, she'll drop everything for me. I know that she's there for me. If I had a family crisis, I know she'd hop in her car and drive up here to help me. But what I love about her as a mentor, she is the most coachable person I have ever met. As we're learning something, I see the wheels in her head turning, figuring out how she's going to implement this. She doesn't have fear around learning new things or not knowing something. She and I have dove into something we didn't understand and just spent hours just playing with the numbers. So we understood, if we change this number, it affects it this way. And I just love her mindset of growth. She's always willing to learn and grow from any of our leaders, from any of our speakers. And I just love learning from her. And I can't wait for you guys to learn from her too. So bringing onto the stage is Miss Donnis Hiskett.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you, June.
How can I talk through tears? Oh my gosh. You guys, Lisa, June, you are so special to me. So I am going to jump right in. And my background is health. I'm a certified nutrition coach, and there's like a huge story behind it. And I'll start. Lisa referred to me as the queen of reinvention. And these are bullet points of my life, major turning points. And as I was growing up, I had a girlfriend and I went to her house, and it was like, oh, wow, single, a mom that stayed at home. They lived in a beautiful home off of Lake Hollingsworth. And I came back, and it's like, for me, I come from poor beginnings and alcoholic parents. And what I realized is they were the example of what I did not want in my life. Then, oh my gosh, I married an alcoholic, and that ended in divorce. But that marriage took me to San Francisco, where I worked for United Airlines. And I went to my boss when I had to get a divorce, and I said, Victor, I need a real job, because I was there on a temporary assignment. And you talk about being blessed and, trusting. He filled out a request. It was so specific that no one could qualify for that position but me. I started making $62,000 a year. I could stand on my own 2 feet. Life was great. Through that, at the end of my divorce, I went to an event and came across this gentleman that I had not seen in 14 years, butterflies in my stomach. And so this new relationship was starting, and all was well until 9/11. At 9/11, after it, United lost 2 planes. The planes were grounded. We were losing $1 million a day. And so all management was given 30 days notice. And so I'm on the phone with Larry going, oh, my boss's boss went today. My boss went today. I said, oh gosh, I'm next. So here now I have to start my life over again. But that was amazing because what I did is I became Wishboard Wanda. I joined Larry, who's an entertainer. I'll get to that in my next one. But so I was living this great life. And then I realized from an accident when I was younger, I couldn't walk without pain. So once again, I had to start my life over. But by the grace of God, here we go. My friend Barbara walked into my life. She said, hey, my condo's been sitting empty for 14 years. Why don't you move in there? Okay, fine, I'll do that. So then I became the manager of my husband. So ladies, I was lucky. I got to tell my husband where to go. And so anyway, but so our life is grand, and we've adjusted to him being on the road and me being at home supporting everything from behind the scenes until 9/11. Until COVID shut down our world. We sat there and watched 16 months of paychecks cancel one by one. And you talk about frightening. Well, so you talk about, being the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. Well, what happened to me is my wonderful Lisa walked into my life. And through that, I was invited and became part of a group that sat in a room with Alec Stern, gazillionaire. I don't know how much the man has, but he is a successful business person. Well, he sat in a room and mentored us ladies. And it was like remarkable. And there's a funny little story, and that's the button. So as we're sitting there, the button came off his jacket, and I said, "Oh, I have a sewing kit in my room." So I went to get the sewing kit, and I sewed his button back on his jacket. And the next time I saw him, what he remembered was, you're the lady who rescued me when I needed a button. So it's like,
And
anyway.
I'm gonna chime in here a couple things, because what you'll notice, first of all, let me ask you, friends, is there any chance that there might be another challenge that comes into our world, like 9/11, like COVID? Is there a possibility that might happen
Oh,
again, right?
absolutely.
Do you notice how Donnis has just so fluidly shifted, right? How we believe in our community that we think probably 90% of people should be employees. We know that the entrepreneurial journey is not for the faint of heart. But doesn't it make sense that 100% of us should have more than one income stream, right? And also, you notice that Donnis is very intentional about what rooms that she spends time in, right? You get to be very protective of your preciousness, my friends. If you are living in a world, maybe it's your own home. I went through this with my ex-husband for a period of time. It was not a positive place. It was not a life-giving room to be in, you know? So you get to be very intentional about what rooms you're in. And, Donnis, she downplayed, she kind of glossed over Alec. Alec is the founder of Constant Contact, the first ever email campaign company. He's one of our mentors in this community. And every time I see him, he seems to lose a button, and he asks where Donnis is. Right? I just had to butt in there for a minute.
But I love it. And being and this is meant in fun, a little Florida redneck, and have Alex Stern know who I am just is mind-boggling. But also we talk about community. These ladies changed my life. Now, Lisa came to me through Alignable, a social media app. June came to me through Shaper. So the lives you touch through social media can change your life. And yes, we became the Flamingo Club. And it's like the 3 of us together. Lisa is like our brilliant idea creator. June and I, we're the behind the scenes. and, help her with the presentations, help her with all kinds of things. And so we build this beautiful unit, and that's what we give to all of you. And so personal development is like compound interest. We are all getting older. It's up to us how we grow, right? And what is our mindset? And I look at this, and so what is your growth plan? What do you feed your brain? That is so critical. And so when I was getting ready for this presentation, Dr. Daniel Amen was a guest on Brendan Bouchard, who is with Growth Day. And it's amen for Dr. Amen, because he studies the brain. And the left brain is a healthy picture. The right brain is one on Alzheimer's. And this is where my passion comes in. The most important investment you can make is in your own health, especially the food we eat, because, well, and it's never too late. And, nutrition is my passion. And like Lisa said, when I tell people how old I am, they don't believe it. I have a young attitude because for decades I have eaten organic. At 73, I have no arthritis in my body. And so I'm an example of what I teach and what I believe. And so my health journey, right? This is perfect. It's a perfect illustration of, is what you're eating killing your body? Yes, it is. Does your food contain, is it highly processed? Does it have pesticides, herbicides, fungicides, artificial preservatives, additives? Yes, yes, yes. Is it full of sugar? High glycemic, and sugar has like 52 names. So be careful when you're reading your labels. Does your food have low fiber? Fiber is critical to our bodies. And, are there food-like substances? I looked at a package the other day of this special burger, and it was filled with MSG. And so they say, yes, I can help you over here. And then they make it a poison and that you put in your body. And be careful about plastic containers, because we get particles of plastic in our bodies, and it's not good. And yes, I rebound as much as I can. It's about choices, and I have made the choices every day to impact my body's health so that I can, at 73, use my rebounder and I'm not confined to a rocking chair. So the health wealth connection, the number one stress in people's lives is money. So if you increase your financial IQ, that knowledge reduces your financial stress, so you have improved health. And that's what I love about what we do. So not only do we give you financial literacy, we improve your health at the same time. And that is my superpower. And so if I teach all the time, and I share, especially with younger people, if I had known at your age what I know today, my life would be so different. So embrace this community and let us keep you young.
Yes, let us help you with your wealth and your health, right?
Yes.
And Donnis, she is such a great example also of when we first met. She had been telling her husband where to go for about 15 years, right, Larry? Like, we need to have Larry sing a song for us this week.
Yes.
And so managing the finances and doing as well of a job as she could have. Would you agree with the knowledge you had?
Yes.
But isn't it interesting how much you've learned just in the period of time with us that you, as a business owner, didn't even know, right? And how many families that she's able to serve now. She and Larry are reaching out and really serving their fellow entertainer communities. It's one of the things that we teach about here in our community, is that we all have people that I know people you don't know, and vice versa. And we can all create a ripple effect in our own communities. By us raising our financial IQ, we are making an impact on our children.
Yes.
My kids, holy cow, do they know a lot about money when it comes down to it. And they're starting to teach their friends, right? So friends, the goal of this week is we're going to be raising your financial IQ. We know that we want to share with you about the number one thing that we think most families need is that they just need to make more. So we love also to share the good news of our very, very powerful affiliate program. It's a company called A Better Life. We believe that when you do better, when you know better, you do better. And really consider this. This is a movement that you're being invited to be part of. It doesn't cost you anything. It's a free movement. Our goal is to empower you with knowledge and tools and services. You're going to learn how to save money, increase income, improve your quality of life. And, it's really what they've done is just like Uber did when, with our driver's license. What Uber did when they started is they democratized the driver's license. Anyone that has a driver's license could go out on the road and create an economy for their family. What Better has done is they've democratized the most valuable thing we have, which is our personal network, the people that we know, right? We also play in the highest paid industry in the world, which is financial services. And you're going to be learning this week about some of the products and services that are on this platform. There's not enough time today to talk about many of them, but you're going to be learning about the debt crisis in our country, how you can help yourself, how you can help your community, the health insurance crisis. We're going to be learning about the tax crisis and several other things. There's not enough time today to talk over all of those, but be watching for your affiliate link. By enrolling in our workshop, you're automatically going to get to be an affiliate with us. As I said, it doesn't cost you anything other than your most important and most valuable thing you have, which is your precious time, right? And yes, I can't wait to hear Vicky speak. A couple things before we wrap up today, friends. Be watching. There's a couple things that I want you to be watching for as well. We have some gifts for you that are in your portal. There's a wonderful book called The Power of Zero that I would so recommend you read. It teaches more in depth about the powerful concept of being your own banker. We also gifted you a chapter from my book, Conversations with an Angel. And if you do want to have the recordings for life, there is a VIP set for $17.87. People ask, why that crazy number, Lisa? That was my first commission check that I ever made. And it just made me realize there's never gets to be a ceiling on my income, right? And then I want to make sure you watch for your homework tonight also. There's a workbook in your portal because we really want you to consider, where are you spending your time right now? Are you trading your time for money? Do you have any type of income that is built on passive residual income that you can build over time? Which part of the cash flow quadrant are you in? Okay, so I want you to be watching for those. Make sure you join us tomorrow as we wrap up the challenge. We're gonna give our lucky winner away. We have a $20 Amazon gift card going to someone that's here presently with us. Let's see who. Oh, I love what you did with the spinner this week, June. Let's see who's our winner. Amy, awesome. Do I see Amy? Is she on the call still? Oh, it looks like she dropped off. Darn it. Amy, where are you? Well, we get to pick again. Let's see, who is our lucky winner today? Vicky, you're the winner. Woohoo! I love it. So be watching for your Amazon gift card, my friend. And let's actually bring you to the stage for a second. I am so excited to hear from you. Give us a little glimpse into what we're going to be learning from you tomorrow, my dear.
Yes, thank you so much. And what a powerful hour this has been. I will say one of the big things that I'm going to be sharing is about listening to yourself and really taking time for you, right? Putting yourself first so that you can fill your cup outward, right? And one of the things I heard all of the women say today is the importance of the we, because there is no reason to do this alone. And there are so many ways that we can use this technology to hide. But what I see happening here in this community, which is just beautiful, I have goosebumps in this moment, is that we're using it as a form of connectedness, togetherness, and not only that, but generosity to each other, because we all have gifts. We all have these beautiful superpowers that these women are talking about today. And I am just super grateful to be walking on this journey with all of you that are here in this very moment today.
I love it. I'm so excited to hear from you. So, friends, we love you. We're so grateful. Thank you for coming today on my mama's birthday. We're so happy that you're here. And for those of you that are watching the recording, we're so grateful that you have given some of your most precious time to us. Blessings, everybody, in this amazing life journey. And we will see you tomorrow. Bye, everyone.
God bless you.